started recording. Let me start. Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. So what we covered yesterday, we have seen what is infrastructure as a service, what is platform as a service, and what are all the software as a service components, right? The basic understanding of these components within AWS or Azure. So today we'll see how to access this AWS portal, okay, and how you can enroll yourself to practice on a day-to-day basis, and what all the basic components that we need to understand before we start building the things in the AWS. These things we'll see today. So anybody has the accounts in AWS?
Yeah, I do have.
You have free time or it's compulsory?
Mm, I need to check. Like, I have my employees one, so let me check with it.
Okay, okay, fine. So first thing is you need to create account in AWS. How to do that we'll see. So if you go to AWS free tab, just search AWS free tab. Okay, so AWS free tab, you'll get these things. If you look at the things, normally you'll get a free subscription. It'll not say free subscription. This free tier is applicable and for anyone who enroll for AWS account. Okay, so in this, it's not free for everything. Normally you'll get 750 hours per month. Okay, if you look at 750 hours per month, compute, storage, database, and machine learning and compute and a lot of these things. Because if you go back and see the things, if you look at all the services, each and every service have their own billing mechanism. So you really can't combine everything and consider it as a single entity. So that is the reason why they have billing for each and every component separately, right? So if you look at the computing, what is computing? Computing is just basically your virtual machine. Okay, so EC2, instance. If you go to instance, launch instance, if you scroll down, you'll see a lot of these images are available. Okay, you can deploy any image, but when it comes to size, you'll see a lot of these sizes are applicable based on the business requirement or business need. But for your account or anyone who enrolls for the free tier for 12 months, this instance is free for 12 months. If you deploy one server with this size T2 micro and you leave it for 12 months, it is free. That is what it means. T2 micro or T3 micro. Okay, if you look at here, T2 micro, there is no T3 micro here, right? What happens normally, or normally what we will do is we'll try to test these servers, or we'll try to test the couple of scenarios in a day-to-day. So sometimes I may require 4 machines to be deployed in order to test some of the network load balancing, or I might require to deploy 2 or 3 servers to test the web application. So that means if I deploy 2 servers, okay, and leave it for 15 days, then your free tier is over. Okay, if I deploy 2 servers and leave it for 15 days, your free tier is over for that particular month, and the rest of the 15 days you will be charged as per standard rates. You getting what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay, and similarly, storage, you can upload up to 5 GB, and 20,000 requests and 2,000 requests you can read write free for every month, or it's for a year, I guess. Yeah, it's for a year. Okay, and RDS again 750 hours. 750 hours means 24 into 31 and some overhead. 24 hours into 31 days, 741. Okay, that's overhead around rounded 750 hours a month. Okay, and you have a lot of these components. Each has their own applicable free tier. CloudFront 50 GB, you can send the data. Okay, but be careful whenever you practice it. Okay, before you log off from the portal, delete everything. Okay, before you log off from the portal, delete everything. Please never ever keep anything inside the portal, otherwise you will get charged for those. You
So
never
that
know.
means, yeah, it is. I mean, for compute, we can make it shut down, right?
Not required, because we are not doing any business here. We are just learning, right? If you are learning, once your practice is done, once your practice is done, simply delete it. If you want, you can recreate it in 2 minutes. You won't take much time to deploy the servers. Okay, even
Like say I have a compute where I am planning to host some application.
okay.
Let's say any ERP application, because basically I'm from a ERP background. So what
Okay.
usually I do is like once I create an instance, I
Mhm.
deploy a couple of applications where it will take like a minimum 5 to 6 hours of time to get it generated and all. So
Okay.
usually I make the compute instances shut down
Mhm.
uh, and keep it, and whenever the next time that I want to log in, we just boot them.
Okay, just power on and use it. Yeah, in that
Yeah.
case, yeah, that is only the way. If your application is taking too much time to install and configure and test it,
Hello.
yeah, be on mute. Okay, your application is taking too much time to install, configure, and run it. So it's good to shut down and keep it, and you will be charged for storage. Let's say you have 3 servers you deployed, and each has around 100 gig of machine. Even though if you shut down it, that 100 gig is chargeable for 24/7. You understand what I'm saying? What I mean is, you have a machine,
Yeah.
okay, and you install something and powered on. When you power on, the the charges are some XYZ amount. Okay, once your testing is done, you just power off. Then your charges will become minimal for storage. Okay,
Okay.
when you power on, the charges for storage, CPU, and RAM. So RAM and CPU charges were gone. Still storage you have to pay.
Okay.
Okay. So that is the reason why whenever you see some bill keep on accumulating due to
Okay.
this.
So,
So
Srini, just a quick question here.
yeah, yeah.
Let's assume like there is a new customer. I'm not sure like if this question is very much early for everybody on the floor, but
Okay.
just want to get some confirmation on what I'm saying.
Okay.
Let's say
Yeah.
I have a new requirement. A customer says that I works on a POCs or RFCs, and there is a RFC where a customer is expecting moving their entire infrastructure,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and now he has to go for a three options. Like he asked us to give like three best quotations. One is for Azure, one is for AWS, and one is for OCI. I mean, Oracle Cloud, and another one is Google Cloud. So
Mm-hmm.
now what I have to do is like I have to calculate the cost of that. Okay, you have this number of services, and you have this number of storages, and this number of. So is there any calculator that defines the cost or given rough estimation of okay, this is the cost that you need to pay for 1 year or 6 months of subscription, or as a part of this duration, so that we can share it to the customer and say that okay, if you are hosting this on your on premises, this is the cost that you need to do, but if you are coming to OCI, this is the cost. For AWS, this is the cost, like that. I mean to say, is there any I believe there is a calculator of billing, a billing calculator for AWS online.
I got you. But that is to satisfy the customer. That's not the practical thing, right?
Right.
Okay. Estimations are never met the customer requirements because this is all these costings are on the fly. If you use it, you will be charged. If you are not using it, you don't need to pay, right? So whatever the rough estimations what we are providing, it is just to give an overview to the customer saying this is the approximate amount that you're going to pay. That might be, I've seen a couple of scenarios where the estimation and the actual billing is 200% difference.
Okay. At least for a tentative idea. Let's say
Yeah.
if I want to comparing the cost wise between AWS and
uh,
Azure.
no, that is highly impossible because their CA and AWS CA and the Azure CA, that the billing mechanism what they have developed is completely black hole. You really can't get the values and cost benefits of both because okay, if you're talking about just a server, okay, I'll give you rough estimation. This is the T2 micro and that is B2M B2S, or this is the one large server. Okay, let's go to here, right? For this, let's say for example around 12,000 rupees per month. Same server, if I go back to Azure, maybe I'm getting it for 19,000. But here in AWS, it's hourly billing.
Okay.
It's hourly billing. Hourly billing means if you turn on the machine, you will be charged for next 1 hour.
Right. So
If you turn, hang on. If you turn off for some reason and turn on again, you will be charged for 1 more hour extra.
okay.
Okay, means whenever you reboot, it will be treated as a new session and you'll be charged for 1 more hour.
Okay.
Okay, but but when it comes to Azure, it's per second billing.
Okay.
Okay, the pro rata basis billing, the per second. Uh, okay, the business requirement is 9 to 5. People are using and people turn on at morning 9 and turn off at evening 5. You'll be charged for that duration only. Okay, even
Right.
though the estimation which is showing up on the screen and the end of the month, the bill you are getting, there is a lot of difference in the same because
Okay.
the way it works is totally different.
Okay, so in this case, like, what would be the recommendations for a customer? Like, I mean, if somebody wants to decide which would be the best comparatively for AWS and Azure, what are the matrices that we need to share?
There's no, I mean, to the reality, there is no realistic metrics you can show up to the customer saying you just have to go with AWS, or there's no realistic metric, you just have to go with the Azure. The people are more interested in Azure nowadays because of they are premium customers to Azure or Microsoft, I'll say, and they do hold the lot of licensing and stuff in their on premise. And if you have the license and stuff for your Windows infrastructure, you can straight away save the license cost up to 49% if you migrate your workloads to Azure. So that is where they are getting more cost savings because they already hold the license.
Right.
Okay, and if you are a gold or platinum customer with the Microsoft, you'll get a free support for at least 2 3 years. And any can you be on mute? I'm getting a lot of background noise. Yeah, thank you. So if you if you have the non-expiry license, because you can use those licenses anywhere, you don't need to purchase for each and every system. Okay, you'll get an accumulated license from Microsoft if you are a platinum partner. Same license you can use it on Azure, and straight away you'll get a 49% saving. When you compare with AWS, this is fairly good amount when you look at the costing. So that is only the reason for a couple of customers, those who are really looking at for Azure, I'll say. And for other reasons, I don't think so. A lot of technical standpoint, each and every component will works in their own way. AWS has their own benefits and drawbacks. Azure has their own benefits and drawbacks. When it comes to the solution designing, it'll clearly understand which component is feasible in AWS and which component is more feasible than AWS in Azure. But those things will not come into picture when you are delivering solution to a customer or when you are talking with the customer at the initial stage, because you never know what components the customer going to use it when you are talking to the customer during the discovery sessions. Understand, it's more of existing infra discovery and finding out the feasible solution for migration.
Right. Yeah.
You really can't promise or you really can't give any fixed values or benefits. If you really like AWS, you go and sell the AWS. You really like Azure, you go and sell the Azure. But at the end, whatever the cost that you are suggesting, you will see 20 to 30% variation in the bill.
Okay.
Okay, because in life, it's never going to be the same what you thought. And over the years, you'll always see a lot of changes. Okay, so
Okay.
right, just back to our topic. So how to access the portal? You need to enroll yourself into aws.amazon.com, free subscription, create an account. Okay, it's more of creating your Gmail account only. I'm not going to explain in detail. Okay, just fill these details. Okay, let me open up another browser. AWS. Yeah, let's create an account here. So you can fill these details. Okay, once you logged in, Okay, and you get the same screen. Okay, but whenever you try to click on any component or try to deploy any of these components inside the AWS, okay, it will automatically take you to the billing page, because unless until you don't set the billing, you will not be able to use the portal. Okay, so if you go to billing dashboard, okay, so billing preferences, uh, set the billing method first of all. Okay, you need to add your card here. Okay, do one thing. If you have a credit card, it's fine, or else put your debit card, and what it will do, it will deduct around 2 rupees, and it will enable the free tier. Free tier doesn't mean everything is free. Please remember. Okay, when once your practice is done, delete everything. Please never ever keep anything inside the portal, especially the elastic IPs and the VPC components. Never ever keep, because for each and every hour they will charge you around $1 if you leave those components as a stale objects. Okay, and I'll show you how to set the limits for each and every component or per day. If you even if you forget, okay, it will automatically give you a pop-up, or it will automatically send you an email saying you have reached your threshold, so that at least you can save something. Okay, these things you need to make sure before you start practicing anything inside the AWS. Now, once your account is set up, okay, once your free tier is created, provide your debit card details or a credit card details, and it will take around 5 hours to set up your account. Sometimes if your debit card details and your current address, what you mentioned, if the locations are not matching, it will take around 1 day to activate. Okay, so create is this Tushar and Madhavi, you people can create your free accounts. Okay, and once the account is created, now where do we need to start? What is AWS region? Okay, if you go to portal, on the right hand side top corner, you will see some of these locations mentioned here. What all these locations? Anyone?
These locations are the physical locations where actual the AWS has their hardware installed, because virtual is something where something really presents at somewhere and we can use it. So
Okay,
typically a data center.
fine. Yeah. So let let's take an example. I'm working for company where they have a data center in US. As I said yesterday, team or you people are working in remote office in India. Let's say more precisely. Now, what you have inside this data center, you'll have your computing, networking, and storage. Right? This is your data center, and you have a private connection between both the sites, and you are supporting from remote office. Now, company has taken a decision saying we are migrating onto cloud and decided on agreed a partnership with AWS. Now, what is cloud? Basically, what we discussed yesterday. What is cloud? Guys, come on. Okay, I'll simply say it is also a data center. Okay, managed by someone else. Who is this someone else? In our scenario, AWS. Okay, now you have chosen AWS as your cloud partner for next 3 years, and you have a data center in US, and you're planning to move all these servers from here to here, right? In short, previously you're accessing your business or your servers, your applications like this. Eventually, after a few months, your aim is to migrate everything over here, and you people access everything from here, right? So, what it has, as I said, same data center. It will have the same racks, same servers, same computing, right? Same storage, but managed by Amazon Web Services. Agree on this? Now, I want to understand little detail about this setup, because if you are managing all these things on a day-to-day basis, okay, you should understand how this has been set up, not on the technical standpoint, not at least for your day-to-day management. Okay, in technical standpoint, everything is managed by AWS physically. What you will do, right? You don't need to do, or you don't need to worry about physical aspects, but you need to understand how that has been set up and which one you want to use it. Okay, for that, let's say you have a US region. So where you will migrate your servers if you want to migrate onto Azure. AWS has many regions. Let me go back. What is this region? The physical locations are composed of regions and availability zones. Just like your Azure, if you are familiar with Azure, AWS has also the similar concept. Okay, whatever the physical locations that they have hosted their services, they composed into technically two different components. One is region. Region is just a location, I can say. Okay, then what is availability zone? Okay, each AWS region is a separated geographic area. Okay, and each region has a multiple isolated locations known as availability zones. Okay, let's understand this. AWS regions and AV availability zones. Okay, so your objective is, I'm just writing on here, your objective is you have one small data center and one support center Both are integrated. This is in US and this is in India. Now your aim is to migrate or wash out this. You need to find out the feasible location. Okay, when it comes to AWS regions, AWS has a global presence, right? So they have a data centers across the globe. US, US, UK. So let's take an example and so on. Okay, so how many regions they have? These are the all available regions where you can deploy your workloads. Okay, then what is availability zone? What is availability zone? Let's say this is US, Ohio. They have a region, and inside the region they have six separate buildings. Understand what I'm saying? And all are connected with, let's say, dark fiber or good connectivity. So consolidatedly, all these six buildings, you call it as region. In short, region is collection of availability zones. Why you need availability zone? Any reason? Anyone?
To have high availability redundancy.
For which?
Like if one goes down, it will check for the nearest data center.
DRs, disaster recovery planning or
Like,
standby.
okay, let's say for example, I have millions of customers who are using US services in this region and they are deploying their workloads here. Okay, for some reason, if this building goes down, all these resources and the services that what they have hosted for their customers, they are already replicated across the zones and they can simply bring it from here. Some of the services, not all the services, because most of the services you need to add out and you need to deploy based on availability zones. Let's say for example, you have to deploy high available application. High available application means you require two servers. And what kind of application? Some web server. You deploy two servers and deploy one load balancer, and request will come to load balancer, and you have two servers in the backend. So the suggestion is put one server here because it is in corner one in the same city or street one in the same city, and this is in another street in the same city, and second server you can place it here. If this building goes down, still your website will keep on working because the second server is still up and running. That is what availability means. Even if one building goes down, you don't see any downtime in your customer environment. So for that high availability, you have a 6 different buildings in the same city, so that you can place your workloads in 6 different locations, and each zone has good adequate bandwidth connectivity between other zones within the region. In fact, all the regions have the private connectivity, that is different. Backend connectivity, that is a different story. But when it comes to region, they have some good bandwidth connectivity, so that they can replicate the huge data between the zones. Clear on this?
Yes.
Madhavi, clear? You want me to repeat once again? Images. Just a second. Region and availability zone. That's fine. Okay. 4 regions. Some in some of the locations you have seen only 2 regions, but in Ohio you'll see 6 regions. It's a bigger one because most of the business will run over there, and they are maintaining around 6 North Virginia and Ohio as well. Okay, if you want to look at, I'll show you. Availability zone. You have 6 availability zones. Okay, means 6 different buildings in the same region. We'll see. Okay, understand? So let's move on. Okay. Or else what I'll say, rather than this, prepare what I can say, how you will prepare your network setup in order to set up the customer environment. Means what? Hmm? Anyone?
Prepare your network setup for environment means first of all we need to decide like on what zone you want to have your infrastructure and how you do a connectivity to that zone and all that proper network setup. Like how would you access your application? What kind of network that you need to have? Any reserved IP for you and all.
Yeah. So if you recollect the example what I've said, okay. Now the plan is to move into AWS. Now you want to connect like this. So what kind of setup you need to establish, and inside how it looks like. Okay, if I go inside the AWS and external connectivity, if I explain the external connectivity, okay, it's fairly simple, but I need to understand how this has been set up and how this is being in place since last 10 or 15 years. Okay, I need to understand this first, and then we can plan this at second stage. You understand my question? You already have an existing customer environment which is running since last 10 years. Now you're planning to migrate everything onto AWS. Okay, before you prepare your customer environment for before you prepare your network environment for your customer, you need to understand how the network setup or network topology that has been in place since last 10 years. Then we can take some decision and see how it can be done in AWS. You agree on this point? Tushar, you there? Madhavi,
Yes.
you there? Okay. So my simple question is, you understand any of these two questions? Mhm. When I'm trying to create something on AWS, I need to understand what we have in the on-premise. So my question is, what kind of IP addressing that you're using, and you have any free IP ranges in your environment?
Okay.
Okay, what is your answer on the answer to this? Because if you're planning to do something on AWS, you need to understand something on-premise as well.
Like we need to understand how the info is there in the on-premises, like what kind of network they are using, which IP ranges, and also what are the subnets they are taking. So how to build the same environment in cloud with the same network, not
That is
missing
what
out
my
any
question
data.
is. Yeah, what you know about the current
So
environment. Okay, be on mute. So basically, you need to understand what IP address class that they are using. For that, you people have to understand the basic IP address class. Okay, and again, what is the difference between public and private IPs? Okay, and what is subnetting? You have any idea about this?
Class A, B, C, D.
Sorry,
Class A, 1
what
to
class? Yeah,
126, 110 to 128 to 192, 191, 192.
these are we will discuss in detail what is these classes and how this can be used in AWS. Okay, so what I can say, we need to understand what all the classes that are available in your on-premise and what are the available CIDRs before if I want to go and create something on AWS. Okay, and I need to understand the difference between private and public, because you'll not send everything over the public internet or public IP address. You'll have a minimal public IP addresses in your environment, and most of the infrastructure you'll host it on private IP addresses. All right. So how that can be achieved, and what is subnetting, and what is VPC. You people already know few things, but let me repeat once again about all these things. Okay, so tomorrow what we will do is we'll start with this IP addressing and stuff, and then we'll understand how the network topology is, and we'll try to put some designs in place for your network topology within AWS, and then we'll continue. This is the plan. So next class, purely IP addressing. Okay, any questions on today's session?
No, I don't have any.
Mhm.
And Srini, I just recollecting one URL. I'm not sure, like if you could just help me out in getting that. So there is a link where it just gives the exact physical appearance of AWS like we see on the globe. So if you could just have that link handy, can you share it to us?
Physical.
Um, Not sure like how I can say that. So it gives AWS locations on a global, like how you see a globe with all the networking and all, just to visualize that how the regions are. But I'm not getting that exact link. In the past, like I think I saved it. But
Okay, this one.
yeah, this the one. So this gives some idea about how physical servers are getting connected to each data centers and what kind of network it is there. So it just gives some glance of the feel how they are
Yeah, yeah,
connected. And
understand. Yeah, I'll just ping you on chat. Okay, you people can save it. I guess it's more of notation how they are connected to.
yeah, how internally, physically they are connected, and what are the differences between those zones? Like if we can point out those cursor on that it will give a detail of okay how it is connected and how it is connected to the other availability zone.
Yes, yes. But yeah, but my concentration more of in a single specific region. Okay, how these things can be adopted and how you want to utilize these IP addresses and stuff, and class A, B, or C, irrespective of what customer environment you're working on, how you can design these IP addresses and how you can design these VPC and stuff for your customers. So more
Okay.
concentrated on network design. Okay, and we'll start with the basics tomorrow, and then we'll continue with the rest of the stuff. It will take around, let's say, 10 to 15 sessions, not more than that, just to understand various network components, how you will handle them in your customer environments. Along with that, how you will design them for your customer delivery. These things,
Okay.
these things will try to cover in tomorrow's sessions. Okay, so just let me stop recording here. Yeah.